Hello, I'm Carrie Hennessy and welcome back to The Dirt. On our very first episode, I showed you trees with winter characteristics that add flair during these dreary months because of their color, texture, and form. Today's episode is going to continue on that same theme, but I'm going to show you some smaller favorites that will help transform a boring landscape into a winter wonderland. Nothing is more recognizable than the stems of a red twig dogwood poking through the snow. You'll often see wild stands of them growing along highways, and they make the roadside look ablaze against a white backdrop. When planted in small groupings, like on a berm or an island bed, the red branches will stand out even without snow cover. Our next shrub, called Keria, is a partial sun plant that also paints the landscape with bright stripes of color. In spring, it's completely covered with rich yellow flowers that give the illusion the plant is glowing. But as a surprising twist, Keria's lime green stems keep their color throughout the winter. Isn't that cool? St. Johnswort can lift the winter gloom with its amazing texture, even without its bright green foliage and yellow flowers. The mahogany-colored seed heads stand up really well under heavy snows, and when cold winds cut through the yard, you can hear them rattling cheerfully. I often see small songbirds hopping around the base, picking up the tiny seeds that fall to the ground. Speaking of birds, including 2 or 3 cranberry bush viburnums will keep your feathered friends well fed and add splashes of color. The clusters of vivid red fruit hang down like jewels. If you are using the straight species, to ensure cross-pollination and good fruit set, plant at least 2 of them. I love incorporating perennials that add texture and height, especially ornamental grasses. But some grasses are better than others at holding up under blankets of snow. If you have a spot near a driveway or road, I suggest planting autumn moorgrass. It's a tough little plant whose spiky foliage isn't beaten down easily. It's salt tolerant, and it's a nice compact choice for the front of a bed. My absolute favorite grass is little bluestem, with its bluish color that transforms to russet in fall. But it's also fabulous for the winter garden. I mean, look how great this color still is. Now, the native form of little bluestem can get a bit floppy, especially under heavy snow, but there are great cultivars out there that will hold up beautifully. If you're looking for something that will stand up tall under pressure, I highly recommend Northwind switchgrass. The soft wheat-colored foliage and airy seed heads are a lovely contrast. As with all the grasses I'm showing you, leave up the entire winter and cut back in spring, being careful not to go too far down and damaging the crown. Other notable grasses you should try are feather reed grass for a vertical accent, northern sea oats for a shady spot, Molinia with its striking seed heads, and miscanthus varieties with their feathery plumage on top that cast whimsical shadows across a smooth, snowy surface. Recently, I've been getting lots of requests and questions about bamboo, which is technically a grass. There are many different kinds of bamboos out there, but for those of us who live in Wisconsin, look for varieties that are hardy to temperatures that can dip below 0 and don't spread by invasive rhizomes. This is snow bamboo, a clumping type, and it typically won't die to the ground unless we have a really harsh winter. If snow starts weighing it down too much, just give the bamboo a light shake so the stems bounce back up again. Snow bamboo doesn't get as tall in Wisconsin as it would further south, but it is still quite beautiful, especially when placed against a backdrop of trees and shrubs. Thanks for joining me today. I showed you some of my favorite shrubs and grasses that can easily be included in your own winter landscape. For some, winter can seem to drag on forever, so it's comforting to look outside and see glimpses of color and texture that remind us that spring isn't so far away. I'm Carrie Hennessy. Please tune in next time to get the latest dirt.